I've been sitting here looking at these charts and I don't know what to think. I really don't know what to think for this coming week. First of all, when I saw the close, so Trump had the tariff news into the close, and here's the SPY dumping into after hours, and I think QQQ probably did the same, and that had me thinking, I wonder which names are more bullish and more bearish going into the close. Apple had bounced and then was dumping, had not broken the lows yet of the day. Meta drifting very slowly down, and Meta is up here at all-time highs. Amazon drifting lower. It did breach the lows of day. Tesla had not breached. Microsoft had breached. Google had not breached yet. And NVIDIA had not breached. So there were a couple that were relatively weaker, and I was like, I bet you we actually do get some gap downs or something on Monday morning. And then today the futures opened up, and I took a look at ES, not that ES, this ES, and look at that gap down. Boom, huge gap down. I would define that as a huge gap down. Basically, from the close here all the way down to here. That is a very, very big gap for ES. I'm trying to look back and see when was the last time we had a gap like that. I guess it's hard to see because then oftentimes the candles will backfill even on that day, you know. But that's a really big gap. Here's a little one. It's hard. I don't really see any. So that's kind of a big deal. And I don't really know what to think about it. And if you look at it here on like the 5-minute time frame, gap went lower, a little bit of a bounce, and then hit a higher low bottom and has been drifting up on decreasing volume, and not really the type of thing you want to see. But it's not regular trading hours yet, so who knows. NQ did the same thing. So, you know, I'm definitely, a lot can happen between now and tomorrow morning, because it's Sunday night at 4 p.m. my time here on the West Coast. So a lot can happen between now and the open, which is 14 and a half hours away. But what does that mean for my setups tomorrow? I don't really have any. I mean, basically for the Mag 7, if you're into chasing Meta, this might be the dip you're looking for. If we gap down on Meta, it could be a quick daily higher low. So I definitely am interested there, but I'm not really in a rush to jump into anything. If we get big gap downs are like the reason that everything coming down at the same time is not that bullish to me. I don't really feel like doing a bounce, and like Trump doing weird headlines all the time it just makes it for tougher trading. And I know on the Chart Guys community where I trade, they're all like saying, you know, in this kind of environment, it's better to go a little bit lighter, go a little bit more hands off. Don't expect moves to continue. You know, look for more volatility, more oscillation, fluctuation. You know, so basically take your money quick if you can get it. And I don't really want to do that. I've been trying to focus more on swinging, and so if I've got things that I'm not sure about going into tomorrow, I don't really think I'm that interested in trading. But I think Meta is one that I would be interested in a daily higher low. But I do think the market needs a huge rinse, and Meta having a big pull in all the way down to here would be sweet. So I don't want to be in a rush to do it. It's going to have to be a really nice looking setup for me to give it a shot if I'm going to do this on a name like Meta. I do have a position here in TEM that I'm holding. I've got a lower cost basis way down here on this daily higher low, which I'm really excited about. I've already taken profit all the way up here. I would be looking for an add if we come in to set a daily higher low. So that's one that I have on this category here, OS for HL. So looking for some kind of oversold conditions, typically hourly, if we can get it for a higher low. And I've got my volume profile areas marked out of all this balance back here. Where was the high volume node? The biggest high volume node is here above my cost basis. I don't want it to get that deep. That would be a bummer if it did. Because if it got that deep, then the retracement from this higher low is too much. I would much rather it set a higher low somewhere up here and then went back up. But we'll see. I'm going to be watching that. Melly is another one that had been moving up. So this one was an interesting one on the monthly time frame. We were scouting this monthly higher low. On the weekly time frame, it was in the steady weekly downtrend, and we still are technically, I think, in a weekly downtrend. Let me just confirm that with the trend tracker. Yeah, it says it's a megaphone because we got this higher high. So technically, if it's a megaphone, you do want to come all the way back up. But I guess it all depends. Like this high here could have been the high, not this one. So maybe on a 2-week time frame, this might look clearer. Yeah, so downtrend on the 2-week time frame, and scouting a weekly lower high, right? But we know that we're looking for the monthly higher low. So is this the break that's going to give us the monthly higher high? And if you look at the daily time frame, I'd been looking at this as a rising wedge. That was if we're actually going to continue in the weekly downtrend, we need this rising wedge to break bear, and it didn't. It pushed higher. And so it basically broke out of this wedge that I've been watching. And so that has me a little more excited, thinking this could continue. Let's see here. I'll show you what I was thinking. Here is the wedge I've been looking at, like that, and then we broke out of it, right? And it could even be back to this one if you wanted. So you get your multiple touches on the top, multiple touches on the bottom. So we break out of it. So if we can hold above this low, then that could continue back up. And this could be actually continuing back to the upside and fulfilling that monthly higher low. So that's one that I'm kind of interested in, a daily higher low as well. And I've got alarms set for that. Oxy, I'm going to be removing because I've been looking for this pattern to play out, and boom, we lost it. Like this is coming all the way back in. It absolutely could bounce. But I think it's time for me to remove all of my drawings and start fresh on this one. I don't know why it's not letting me remove drawings. There we go. So yeah, basically the downtrend looks like it's continuing. We'll see if this bottom holds. I'll sort of watch it on the side. I'll just put it in my own watch. And that's kind of it. I mean, I have a bunch of things that I'm watching, but nothing I'm super excited about. One thing I did over the weekend is I went through and looked on the daily time frame at what are the names that are in a strong uptrend. So this is what I would call not a good strong uptrend, but what are some that are? And I went through all the different sectors, looking at names, and specifically thinking about the 200 day moving average, and like names that are holding it as they round out and continue up. So Wells Fargo from financials fell into it. Bank of America fell into this category. There's a ton. I found a ton in this list from every different sector. What are the names that are just generally continuing up and to the right, even after nice big pullbacks like this? And if I put in RSI, I'm interested in like which names are showing me daily oversold, resulting in a hold of the 200-day moving average and then continuing higher. And so that's something that I've been really focusing on all the names on this list. So I think going into the week, if we're going to be getting into a sort of volatile time here with Trump for a little bit, I'd like to spend more time reviewing these charts that I saw as overall quite strong and trying to find areas of value like that would hold the daily, weekly, monthly uptrends. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I should say that would hold the monthly uptrend and like stay above the 200-day, and like what would be my ideal spots on those names. I want to have a long list with alarms set, and I want to be looking at that list every day, managing that list every day, looking for swings, longer term swings that I can get into, because I keep seeing it happen. You know, we spend all this time every day looking for what am I going to trade today, and as a result I miss really good opportunities like this one where this held the 200 and and has been basically up ever since. This is back on, this was the big dump day. But Bank of America has done fantastic. And if I'd been watching this, holding this trend, man, it would have been great. So anyway, thinking about that on a bunch of different names of every different kind of stock. And I want to just be building better plans for how I can get in and stay in these names that are strong. And play on them continuing to have strength. And I specifically went sector by sector looking for these strong names because I don't know which sectors are going to continue to perform well and which aren't. But I want to try to look at a variety of names. I've done this before and not been successful at following through, but I think this week is a good week to take some time and work on that. So that's me for the week ahead. I don't really have a ton of things that I'm looking at going into the week. I'm going to spend more time doing chart review and a little bit less time actively trading.